There you guys are.
Yes, I'm Dan, this is Daniel. Drums and guitar, lead vocals.
Hey,
The
I'm
other guy.
Giselle. Thank you for
Giselle.
being on my Mod Rock Jam podcast. Oh, we have someone else connecting. Okay.
Sure is James.
Oh yeah.
All right. And we have guitarist James.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Clay. All right. I appreciate all you guys being punctual. And you kind of have to be, being musicians, touring artists, right? Like you have to learn how to start cue and then like wrap it up. That way there's enough time for cleanup for the next band to perform.
We try.
We try. Yeah.
Have you gotten down to a point where like, okay, we need to wrap this up, or like let's clear everything off the stage within a certain minute? Do you time yourself? Do you try to beat your record?
Not quite that formal, but we're told we're better than most at that.
Yeah. We all show up early.
We're prompt, and we do have consideration for others, which is not always the case in this world.
Right. I mean, hey, if your headliner's like, who gives a damn?
That's true. Well, there's the people that work there. They want to leave.
Yeah. Well, I'm a stagehand at Concord Pavilion, so I mean, I think we're more on the schedule of like, okay, get all the shit in the truck because they got to go to the next show and stuff like that. I know your band's called Strange Cities. Can you tell me individually what's a strange quality about you?
Strange quality about me.
I will nominate Daniel. I'll just say everything about that man.
Yeah, I'm a little kooky. I don't know. Just I mean, the name sort of came about as everyone presented all these names, and just sort of by process of elimination, we sort of went with that one. But I grew up in like Georgia and Tokyo, and then the Bay Area, and I don't know. That just made me sort of an amalgamation of I'm a little out there, a little weird. Yeah.
I'd say I have a pretty involved internal dialogue. So often want to live there more than real life. And that might come off as weird sometimes. I can seem I'm very spaced out, but that's just that I'm having an intense discussion about whatever in my head.
I find myself not getting along with a whole lot of folks, not because I don't like them. It's just we're not on the same wavelength. But these guys, even though we're all different, we have our own language.
Yeah.
Spoken and unspoken.
Yeah, it's true.
And
I've
you
got
Clay?
a third nipple.
I was waiting for someone to say that.
I'm joking. Yeah, I'm just a weird guy in general.
I feel like, with the Bay Area, like we have our, unique personalities. And as you mentioned, you're a post-punk band from the city, and your sound reflects, I'm reading off your bio, the foggy, jagged, dichotomian landscapes, and your music's very melodic and melancholy. And I did read that before you guys formed Strange Cities, you were in other prior bands, and it's only been a couple years of the formation since Strange Cities. What about all you guys? I know you have like, your own personalities, but what made everything click for you with Strange Cities?
To get the final lineup, it took maybe like a year or so to zhuzh out. And I think the final quality, the key is we all have the same similarity that we all listen. Like some people can shred and but they're not listening to the other people in the band. And we all really complement each other in that aspect. Like a lot of drummers will just play off the bass, but like the best drummers, like the Ringo Starr method, they'll play off of like, I'm gonna go off the rhythm, off the vocals on this part, or I'm gonna sit back on this instead of like, I can do all this. You know what I mean? Or like bass sit the same way. And I think the key is really what amalgamated is that ego checked at the door. It's not about me, it's about the song. That really made us sort of a band of brothers, which is sort of unique. Even working with our producer for the record, we just catch him sitting back in the chair and we're like, what? He's like, boys, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this special sort of camaraderie and listening.
Okay, so basically being on the same page and having open communication. Was that something you guys all had to work through? Was there some challenges to overcome that?
It's kind of natural, honestly. Yeah, like I'm the last guy to join up in the current lineup right now. You know, I learned a few songs that they had sent me and or that was like posted online or something like that. And then learned those and then we just started like writing new material, you know, like it's just yeah, when we get in a room all together, we just know what to do on our own respective instrument, you know, and like we just stay in our lane. And as Daniel said, no one's trying to overshadow anybody else, steal that limelight, take the solo, you know, like everyone just kind of like feeds the song with their own instrument so everybody else sounds better, if that makes any sense, you know, like we do what our own instruments do in the right lane, and we don't overstep on each other at all.
That's fabulous. I love that you guys all mesh well. It's all natural. It's not like the whole, sting in, the police where it's like, okay, like I'm the leader and stuff like that has to go my way. But
So,
being a band from the Bay Area, like what makes this whole project special? Is it the local music scene that they have your back and support you as well as the local venues? Do they play a part?
yeah, I mean, I'm born and raised in San Francisco, so like playing around here has been pretty much ever since I've been a musician, it's been based out of here. And yeah, I would say, you know, after the lockdown or the lift up from the lockdown, local venues are struggling and they're happy to have bands play. You know, I work at the Independent, which is a pretty popular mid-tier venue here in the city. It's probably the best venue in the city of that level. And so we get a lot of touring acts. We get the Outside Lands people coming through for the after parties and just larger names that have been established for like decades sometimes, you know. And where we're playing now, like places like Bottom of the Hill, Amato's, Brick and Mortar, Kilowatt, those are all kind of smaller clubs, and they definitely appreciate it when a local band does well, because that boosts everybody else up around, you know. And then we could try to build up this music scene, and try to get it back to like what once San Francisco once was, you know, and just have like that whole scene going on.
I was
Yeah.
gonna mention, have you guys played at the Independent, Strange Cities or no?
No, not yet.
Not as us, no.
Oh, okay. So that's the goal, because I believe that is another Planet Entertainment company,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
totally.
Like you mentioned, you guys played smaller Bay Area venues. Like I know that your goal is the Independent, of course, keep growing to bigger venues, but like what I don't want to say favorite, right? Because they're all so great, but like which venue do you feel like you connect the most and with the audience getting engaged?
No,
I would
Bottom
say
of the
bottom
Hill.
of the hill. Yeah,
Yeah.
bottom of the hill is like what's interesting about the Bay Area is like when I was a teenager skating, playing punk rock in Japan, we knew about bottom of the hill. Like my dream was to like go to FTC, buy a skateboard, and like hang out at bottom of the hill. I remember like when I was like 20, the first time I got on stage at bottom of the hill, I'm like, this is my dream. This is my dream. And everybody's like, that's good, son. Like that's good. But they created a culture, like especially the punk rock scene from back in the day. And that's how Clay and I really like connected, is from our punk rock roots. And that kind of culture really impressed me. Like, so I moved to the Bay Area. The scene is changed now. Music's changed a lot, and how they use analytics, and paying your dues isn't much of a thing, unfortunately, because we've paid a lot of dues. But I would say Bottom of the Hill cultivates still that cultural significance versus an equivalent, let's say like Cafe du Nord, similar size, but no one internationally really cares. Like Bottom of the Hill's got legendary status. It's tattooed on people's bodies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's on record covers.
It's
So
just such a great room too.
Yeah.
There's just something about the feel of the place.
And they're pro.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, that's also true. Like when you play Bottom of the Hill, you're gonna get the great sounds. Stage sound's gonna be good. Everyone's gonna report back that it sounded great from the audience perspective.
I want to give a shout out to the Kilowatt though. That's
Yeah,
coming out.
yeah,
That's my
it's
second
coming
favorite
out.
one. I
Yeah.
love that place.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bringing rock and roll back to the
Yeah,
mission.
I'm so
I love
happy
it.
that they're doing music over there again, you know, like I guess like they used to do music back in the 90s,
Yeah,
like
a lot of
90s or
hardcore stuff.
whatever. And then just over the past year and a half or so, they're doing live music again. That's awesome because that's such a great place to be. They're killing it over there.
I just went there for the first time this year because I've been to all the other venues you mentioned, and then I finally went to the Kilowatt. So does that mean all you're gonna get a bottom of the hill tattoo?
I'm actually gonna get one because
Wow.
I'm getting married there in November.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, sort of rock and roll wedding. Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Hell yeah. All right. And then do a concert of it. I know you guys just did an album release party for Moment Stolen. Can you tell me the whole experience and the vibe that evening?
Oh yeah, it was I mean it was special. There's headlining Bottom of the Hill on a Friday, they have expectations for what the show should be, we were feeling the weight of those going in, so I'd say we had a lot of like excitement in all of us. But then like the place started filling up that night
It was
and
packed, man.
we got more and more relaxed that, we were going to meet our obligations in that way. And then, we just had to send it musically, which I think
And we got
we did.
confirmation the next day from the venue,
Yeah.
it was a great show. I thought I'd forgotten something, so I went back to the venue the next day, and they're like, "Please come back. It was amazing."
Yeah, there was a lot of buzz and a really good energy there that night.
And it's 2 for 2.
And we
like, props to Trixie Rasputin Presents and Laser Beam and the Hot Takes. Those are the two other bands that played that night, and they brought their people, and they absolutely, it wouldn't have been a great night like it was without them, like all three bands kind of came together and did a set, but also each band's fans came through, like we had somebody fly in from Arizona to see us. That was like wild. And my mom came to the show. She's from Astoria, Oregon, right? So like she came down because she was excited. Then I heard that this lady who saw us play in Las Vegas last year, she's got wind that we were having our album release party and flew all the way up from Arizona. That was wild, like to Bottom of the Hill for this local band. Like that's just really cool. So
Now, did you get all these fans like nationwide because you've gone on tour? I know you also did a tour with, I believe, Jane Aston, Gene Loves Jezebel. I interviewed the other brother.
Michael,
Michael,
But that's incredible that you guys are blowing up not just in the Bay Area but outside as well, and I really hope that really continues. And I want to talk about 2 songs off the album, Where Stars Collide and Holoscene. Oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed with them, and I like to listen to them when I'm at the gym because when you're working out, like but then you hear a really good song and it just like motivates you. Like those are the songs that keep me going. So tell me how you guys wrote those songs.
Awesome.
Stars was sort of like James had this riff, and we were sort of like playing it, but then really when we went to England, that's where it got developed. That's where like it really came together. Holoscene, we recorded with Peter Kraft up at the Boxer Lodge in north of here. And that one's really a sort of an homage to Pop Scene, which was like my favorite club. It's where only Amy Winehouse show ever was. I saw Muse there. I saw the Killers there before they broke, the Editors. It was Aaron Axelson, Live 105, ran that club. And I mean, he was like the Rodney on the Rock of San Francisco. I mean, he broke Block Party, he broke all those bands. And that was sort of an homage, but then the scene has gotten a little bit thin since that disbanded. And so Holoscene was saying the scene is sort of, like, for lack of better words, bullshit. But then that's why I'm demanding to meet me on the dance floor. Let's throw down tonight. And then Stars, we've dealt with a ton of death. People very close to us dying, sort of all around the same time within a 5-year span. And Stars is really a song about, keeping their memory alive, celebrating them, really. So it's melancholy, but it's also positive in an aspect of, I still wake up for you. I still go on for you, like in your name, sort of,
And Live 105 is back in the Bay Area, and I know you did a show with them at Brick and Mortar. That's where I saw you guys. I was like, oh, even my boyfriend, you guys stole the show. Like we were there for Kaleda. We were there for her, but then he's like, Strange Cities, oh my gosh, they're so good. He kept raving about you even after the show. They were so good. And then so I was like, Hey, guess what? I'm going to interview them on my
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh, killer. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That was a fun show. That was kind of last minute. Aaron Axelson hit up I think Daniel, right? And then he asked like a week before the show, and he asked us like, hey, can you guys play this like kind of last minute? And I was like, yeah, let's do it for sure.
And then he got us on some
That was cool. That was awesome.
That is so freaking stellar. Do you have any other upcoming shows?
August, right?
Yeah.
August 8th,
22nd.
22nd.
The
Kilowatt.
The Kilowatt.
Yeah.
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 Look at
Awesome
that,
spot.
full circle. So tell me, how long did it take to write Moment Stolen? This is your debut album, correct?
Debut full length. Yeah. Some of those songs have been around a lot longer than others. You know,
It's been a year process this time.
Yeah, you know, I'd say it was probably more like on the 2 years of
With some of the songs, yeah, they were definitely, we played them quite a bit and didn't really know what to do. Do we want to do an EP? Do we want to do singles? And then we went to England to record, and then some of the songs were not really written there per se, but the ideas were formulated into songs. And it's just like kind of like boot camp, like, oh, let's get this thing arranged and get the instrumentation on and everything. And then we're like, oh, we have it. This is an album. This is not an EP. This is we've got an album. So
Yeah, because I did hear those songs live when you performed at Brick and Mortar, and that is so awesome. You guys went over to England to record this album. Did you guys do the touristy thing? Like, did you check out Abbey Road?
a little bit.
We didn't have a lot of time.
We had a cool hookup though with we got hooked up with a van driver who we had this great Sprinter van that was, you know, we were renting from him, but he was also doing the driving, and we had, you know, a chauffeured tour around London.
He's from Manchester, and he's the biggest music fan. He loves the whole Manchester scene, the whole like all the Britpop stuff, and so he would just love to show. He wanted always to go like, oh, this is here's Jimmy Page's house.
Yeah.
You know, let's go look at that. You know, we're like standing out in front, like, oh, okay, this is cool, and just taking us to in Manchester and where Factory Records used to be, and just all the history. He was a great tour guide.
And we got to hang out with so we did a small tour with Christine Young, who the legend, and you know, she's
amazing.
The Morrissey and been on TV and all that. And then Tony Visconti, the producer, shared the van with us. So it was like a wild world when we're like, oh my God, this person would be this person, and all just, it was, I don't know, one of the most exciting times of my life that I can think of was being in England with you guys. Like that was, it was crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like that could be like a next music video if you guys got any footage, and oh my God, that would be like a great. And I want to ask you that too, because you know, you have some music videos on YouTube. Can we expect more?
Oh,
it's something we want to do.
You should.
You got to do it. Yeah, like we
We're
do
a little bit behind on that. So
Yeah.
we do have footage of England. Well, we don't have it, but our friend came out, and he was kind of our videographer, photographer. He came all the way out there and joined us on that like week-long tour, and so he has all this footage that we just haven't got from him yet. So I'm really curious to see what's in there, because there's probably a lot of good stuff that we could throw together and either make a full music video and use that footage in there, or just use it as like, you know, some online 30-second clips or something like that to promote certain songs. But yeah, I just haven't seen all that footage yet, so I'm super curious to see kind of what he got, you know, because I saw one thing that he posted around that time. It looked awesome, and I was like, okay, cool, man, if you got more like that, let's use it. So yeah, that's absolutely something we should be doing, is getting one more video out pronto. Yeah, we're starting our next EP already, and we're just trying to put out more content regularly, so there's not this lull. I think now that we've dropped Moment Stolen, I think that's where you got to turn it up, like after the album. It's not like, oh, it's more like, oh, we did this, go, you know?
Yep. Keep up the momentum.
I just read an article just because Andrew McCarthy, who was part of the Brat Pack, he did a documentary, and actor Anthony Michael Hall, he's not featured in the documentary, but in this article, he was saying how he kind of wants to move past his teenage years and he just wants to move forward and, you know, just kind of working in like nonstop mode. So like that totally makes sense. I thought you guys like, okay, we're just going to chill, but like, no, we need to work on the EP and, you know, that's going to help with socials as well. And I was scrolling on your social media page and I saw like numerous albums, even ones that I've liked. So what are some of the albums that musically has shaped you guys?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
So I would say Disintegration for me. It's a big one.
Rancid and Out Come the Wolves taught me how to play bass. So that's probably the most influential album of my existence, you know? Yeah, absolutely.
That's a tough one. Like my Desert Island album is Siamese Dream, Smashing Pumpkins, but you know, it changes everything from like I like a lot of old school 90s hip hop. Recently, like the other night, after work, I came home, I bartended at a venue and I came home and I just threw on PJ Harvey live videos and Tina Turner. And as a front person, like watching Tina work, just how much she emotes. That's been influential for this next tip. PJ Harvey as well is God. I've been really into PJ Harvey of late, but it'll change. You know, it's sort of like you know, you're into pizzas sometimes, you're into naan and curry sometimes. You know, just you know, sort of depends. But I think the common threads are, I don't know, we don't really stick to a genre really. Sometimes.
Maybe like the early Gang of Four stuff, like Block Party, Interpol sneaks in there too, like those kind
Chameleons.
Chameleons are big
yeah.
one.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing from some of you guys have other jobs. How's trying to balance each other's like work schedule, but also making time and commitment for band rehearsals?
Insanity.
Yeah.
It's challenging at times. But
We're pretty good though. We make it happen at least a couple
Yeah.
times a week. On a bad week, it's one practice, which is, you know, some bands practice only once a week. So I think that's not enough.
Yeah, and then we also communicate throughout the week. Oh, like this needs to get done. Like, oh, maybe we should have post up, or maybe like, oh, you know, we're communicating constantly because we're sort of like a family, and I think that's really helpful. But yeah, we usually we're in there twice a week. It's pretty religious. Like I tell, like Clay and I have, you know, he's the show manager and bartends as well, and I bartend, and that allows us. And then the other two have day jobs, and so their schedules are a little bit more, you know, Monday through Friday, but Clay and I can sort of flex around. Like I just don't work on Tuesdays and Thursdays because that's when we're going to be in the studio. But then my job allows me that, oh, well, we're not going to practice that Tuesday in 2 weeks. So then I can pick up a shift or something like that. So, I mean, it's hard. It's definitely a hard thing because there's opportunities to go in different directions, like work-wise, but then it'd be at the sacrifice of the music. And so I think sometimes you got to make that sacrifice if you really want it, you know?
Yeah.
Flexibility, you know, like that's the aim of the game right there, is just be flexible and be able to kind of like adjust it whenever you need to. And yeah, it's good.
That's my star quality. Or in job interviews, they're like, oh, tell me your strength. I'm like, I'm flexible. This was in the news recently. So Depeche Mode, Prince, they're getting their Hollywood Star of Fame. Musically, who do you think should be next? Because I know like those always kind of focus on like actors.
Oh shit.
Ooh, I'd like to give PJ Harvey one if she doesn't have one, but I'm just on PJ Harvey too. That's tough.
I'm gonna go with Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill. She should be on it. She should have a star.
Producers.
I was gonna think a producer, maybe like Butch Vig or maybe Albini.
Maybe.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, homage to the late Steve
Yeah,
Albini.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And he'd be like the one that would hate it.
I was gonna say he would hate that. He would hate it. Yeah.
That's why it'd be perfect.
He doesn't even show up to his own ceremony.
He won't.
Okay, so another thing about your music, like a common theme, is like putting the pieces together of a broken past or reflecting of an unknown future. If you guys could time travel, would you ever revisit the past to change something or go far into the future to find new discoveries, or play it safe or staying in the present? This is kind of like the Matrix, where I'm giving you the red or blue pill.
I've thought about this because sometimes people ask, like, oh, what would, if you would change anything about your past? And I would say probably everything, just because I've already lived that past. Why not try something new? Just completely different, you know? No offense, guys. Maybe hopefully we'd get back together, but you know, but who knows? I mean, it's just, you know, you've already done it.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, not as far as tinkering with the past. I wouldn't do that, but you know, if I had to be sent back, yeah, I probably would change things up for sure. But not if I had to come back and deal with those consequences. You know.
Yeah, that's the scary part. Like I think about that too. I was like, man, if I was all the shot back with my same consciousness now into like, let's say high school, like maybe I just study physics the whole time. But then on the other hand, I also get afraid it's like, well, maybe like someone might not be born because of that, like the whole butterfly effect, you know, and then so let's say like you have to go somewhere. I wouldn't mind going to the past, but I can't actually interact. I observe
Yeah.
myself to learn today. 'Cause right now, I have to say, like, I wouldn't change anything, but part of that's just because of the band, meeting you guys, but also it's like a justification for my existence now. So it's a
Yeah.
tough one, you know.
I would want to go back and watch the Great Pyramids being built, settle that once and for all.
But that would be
I want to know who shot
It
you.
wasn't aliens.
yeah. Have you seen Ancient Aliens? You know that gets
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go to the future. If I had to choose between the two, I'd check out the future. Like medicine's probably more advanced.
Oh,
You know,
God.
like less odds of getting killed if you go compared to the past. But yeah, I just want to see what the future's like, see where we're going, you know?
I like how
It's
you
gonna
guys
be
are all going in different directions. I've been watching like this sort of like futuristic dystopian show on Apple TV Plus called Dark Matter. It's a
Oh yeah.
really good show, and the last episode just got released, so I gotta watch that probably after this interview. But it really talks about like altering your life and how like one decision can open up like multiple parallel or like just infinite amount of universes. So I think your music, Strange Cities, will be great for that show if they do make a second season or something.
Yeah, pick it up, please, Dark Matter. I just finished watching that show too, and yeah, I really liked it. It was really good. I wanted to read the book that it's based on now because
Yeah.
like there's some concepts that you could get really into through writing, right? And like, yeah, I like it was a refreshing, really uneasy feeling show, you know, like it was super creepy and sinister. Totally up my alley. I liked it.
It's not the top a type of like genre I would watch, but it was very well done. And James, when we were sending emails to each other, you told me how you saw Urban Heat and that was like one of the best shows you've seen. Who of you guys individually, like what were the best concerts you've been to?
Marilyn Manson, Warfield, 2006, something like that. Yeah, just one of the best shows I've ever seen. I'm not a huge Marilyn Manson fan at all, but that stage performance was unlike anything else I've ever seen. It was crazy. It was awesome.
Nine Inch Nails, Warfield. That was one of the best ones I've ever seen. Yeah, another Warfield one. And it was the With Teeth tour where the internet broke and I was lucky enough to get a ticket. It was just like my hair blown back. It was like that Peter Murphy Maxwell tape commercial from back in the day when he's just like,
Oh, so many.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I went to see the band Spiritualized play in LA with like a full gospel choir on stage, and that was very cool. They were filming it for a DVD. Really amazing show.
So this is also kind of been talked about, like AI's involvement with music, and Sheryl Crow, she spoke kind of against this idea, and she didn't like the rapper Drake. He used an AI voice of Tupac for his diss track towards Kendrick Lamar, and I don't know about the whole feud what's going on between them, but she was just like, I don't think Tupac would have chose a side. And in a different context, I wanted to ask you guys, would you ever try to work with AI, or it's like the moment you incorporate that, that's when the music's dead?
Not necessarily. I don't see a path to us using it,
Yeah.
but I'm also not opposed to it as a tool if it's not doing all the writing. You know, if we're using maybe for a narrow purpose, there's some way that we can use it as just another
Like a paintbrush.
paintbrush,
Yeah.
you know, like I could see that. I'm not totally against it in in that context, but
And I think
yeah, at a certain point, you know, it becomes the predominant tool in your tool bag, then I think you're getting into like sort of like the death of music.
and then there's the argument of like, oh, it's just bad. I think it's more like AI is a tool, like a hammer. You can use a hammer to hammer a nail in, or you can use a hammer to do something destructive.
Yeah.
And I think often with a lot of these new technologies, AI and stuff, we don't use the hammer to nail the head. It often can be destructive. So I think there's a responsibility to use it in a way so you don't lose the artistic integrity. Because people could have said that about sampling, but then when you really think about sampling, like with hip hop artists, like of the past used to sample it from records, you know what I mean? Not like just generated. It would, to me, that's not like really cheating because they're using that as paint. You know, it's like you buy paint, you didn't make your own paint, right? But then you paint the picture with it. And if they do that with AI, I don't think it's the worst thing on the planet, but I think the industry is going to push towards a crutch based on analytics. And that sort of freaks me out a little bit.
I would use it for one thing, and that's to have Tupac feature in one of our songs.
We're deciding for him. That's what he would have wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, this like drops hella hard. All right. I work for a news station. If you guys could come up with any news headline, what would it be?
World peace is breaking.
Yeah, the aliens have landed and they brought everything we need.
Humans on Mars. I want to see that.
I want to ask you guys this too. What would you tell your younger self? I mean, yeah, we were just talking about kind of traveling back to the past. And the reason why I asked that was because I found a passport picture of you, Daniel.
Oh my gosh. This is really funny because it looks like I'm like 45, like 11 going on 45. My glasses are crooked. I'm like, how did my mom let me fucking even do that? I would tell my younger self, like pretty passionate and emotive. I'd be like, be aware of that. Like, yo, man, just chill.
Yeah.
Like, you know, every heartbreak was like the end of the world, and like, oh, let me listen to sad music in my room and metal too, and then, you know, like take that emotion and channel it. Like, don't let it overwhelm you. You know, like relax. You know?
Yeah, it'd be some variation of "don't worry about it."
I'd tell myself to learn Spanish instead of French. It's just what would have been much better,
More useful. Yeah,
that's what I would have done.
I'm one of those generation where it's like my family speaks Spanish, but I don't. And to be rebellious, I took French and I barely pass with a C.
Yeah, I mean, Spanish is just more practical in California than French, so that's what I would have changed.
I looked this up because I was like, you know what? You're strange cities. I wonder what other cities are strange. So I just like or did a random lookup, and some of them are like out of the country. This one close to home, Coma. Apparently, Coma is considered a strange city because of like the cemetery.
The cemetery.
There's more dead people than living. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Daniel, you talked about, you know, Japan. There's a city, I hope I'm saying this right, Miyakajima.
Oh, Miyakejima. Yeah. So Miyakejima was an island I went through, I think I went in middle school, and you can't go there anymore. Volcano erupted. But that place is notoriously haunted as well. I had to do try to go get this wooden spoon by yourself in the dark. I just went out to the front door, like, and the whole class is there, and I just waited 15 minutes. I was like, yeah, man, it was dark. I couldn't find, I didn't even get off the porch, man. It was too scary. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, strange cities, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, really
thank you.